Hello, everybody. Guess what day it is? It's
Sunday.
not Friday.
It's Sunday, baby.
Sunday Fun Day. It's not really Sunday Fun Day.
Oh, it's not.
Anyway, we don't want it to be Sunday, but unfortunately it is Sunday. Some of us have to work tomorrow. Some of us may not have to work tomorrow. Some of us worked all weekend. Some of us didn't. Some of us did other things this weekend. What are we looking at?
I kind of worked this weekend.
You did.
I took care of a puppy all
You
weekend.
did, yeah. We puppy sat, obviously. But what's the real reason we're here? We're going to put our combined top 10 bourbons, whiskeys of the year. Might be some ryes caught in there. You might see a cat here and there. You know, she's on patrol. So, trying to pick out that perfect bourbon. So anyway, I have a list that I chose. Mrs. Beach Sand has a list that she chose. Neither one of us compared notes. So I put mine out, she put hers out, and we're going to share with you those bottles, my 5 and her 5. So ladies first.
Are we going from the very
You're going
top?
from 5th to 1st.
5th to 1st? Okay.
And no, Fred's video from this weekend did not have any factors on what we chose.
I didn't see Fred's video.
You saw part of it.
Okay. All right.
But we're not going to taste things and spit them out into a mug or
No.
anything like that because we're not to that level yet. We're still spending more than we're making.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we're not making anything.
We just do it because we love it.
The fun.
Yep.
For you guys at home, this is what we enjoy. So here's Mrs. Beach Sands, bottle number 5.
So, my bottle number 5 would be the 1792 Sweet Wheat.
Ooh. I forgot about that one.
How can you forget about this one?
You know, when you have all the bottles that we have,
We have to take a little taste.
you can take a little taste.
Are you going to take a little taste of your little number 5? I'm just
will.
doing a little taste.
I will, probably.
Okay, see? That's just a tiny little taste.
Oh, okay. The baby taste.
I'm doing a baby taste.
So, 1792 Sweet Wheat. We picked that up in Kentucky. I don't think it's sold here in Michigan because I've never seen it anywhere. And I don't think that I've heard of anybody picking one up in Michigan. Although I would like to have a backup bottle because we enjoy it. Mm-hmm. We do.
Yep.
I know a lot of people out there, I go, it's not the greatest. But that was the last bottle at the liquor store we went to in Kentucky. In Louisville, actually.
Yep.
It was like one of our first stops. I mean, I was surprised to see it there with some other stuff.
Well, and one of the other reasons is it's a lower proof.
It's a lower
Which
proof.
Means lower
it's
proof.
Wheated. So it's a little sweeter on the note.
Yep. Very, very good.
So
how about you, Mr.
So
Beach
my number 5, and this was a tough one. I mean, it was because this bottle really didn't come around to me until like midsummer. I tried it like back in December, I believe, for our 31 days last year that we did 31 days of fresh cracks. But Four Roses single barrel. Like I said, I got maybe a pour or so left. Not a whole lot. But this bottle really came around probably, like I said, midsummer. I had a few pours here and there, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not the greatest. And then one day it just like, I'm sorting through everything, trying to find something. What what sounds good?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a pour, and all of a sudden, it's like, it totally caught me off guard. And as you can see, I have been enjoying it. I do need to get another. It's available pretty much all over the place. You just got to find the certain bottles, certain barrels, warehouses, and floors, and
that's the one thing you're going to hear a lot of today is, oh, I need to get another. Because we like them so much, we drink them, and we don't have backups, and so now we're on the hunt for another.
All right. So that brings us up to number 4 for Mrs. Beach Sand, which is?
I would say my number 4, and we've talked about this one a lot on many of our not channels, but a lot of our clips, and that would be Maker's Mark Private Selection Pour, Sip, and Repeat.
This one is from Repeat's Party Store in Holland, Michigan. This one here we picked up. This is probably our 5th bottle.
Probably. Hence it's not open.
Probably our 5th bottle. The other bottle is empty and it got tossed out. So had to break out the new bottle so we could show it to you. Luckily we had a bottle. Otherwise we would have to take a quick road trip.
Dang.
So I'm sure we'll be doing that shortly because Repeats has some good stuff that rolled in. So a couple new barrel picks. So we have to get down there and check things out. Which brings me to my bottle number 4. And this was a bottle that we picked up at Maker's Mark. This is the Heart Release. This is the 2024. This is the 112 proof. Not sure when. Says June of 2024 on it. There's a couple bottles floating around. Different bottles. One was bottled this time. One was bottled that time. Don't really know the details on all that. But this bottle was really good.
Need a backup.
I got a backup.
Oh, we got one.
But I also got a bottle for a friend who did me a huge favor when I first got into all of this. So thank you to Matt.
Yep.
Matt, you know who you are. You know what you did. And I greatly appreciate that. Most of all, I appreciate your friendship. That's what's more important.
I would agree.
Brings us to bottle number 3 for Mrs. Beach Sand.
This was a tough one. Ugh. My bottle number 3 actually comes, you picked this up for me in Okemos, but that would be the Bardstown Single Barrel from Tailgaters.
I agree. So Okemos, Michigan, which is over near Lansing, near the center of the state. They do several store picks a year. They do a really good job with pretty much everything that rolls out of there. We have had the private selections, some other stuff. But the Green River Single Barrel was pretty much the thing that got us hooked on that store to begin with. Went in there, went to grab some donuts. It's at exit 110 if you ever traveling between Detroit, eastern side of Michigan to the western side, either way. Exit 110, go north about a block. It's right there. It's a gas station.
Oh.
Tailgaters.
It's
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's connected to a Dunkin' Donuts. Can't miss it. Can't miss it.
So if you want some donuts and some good bourbon, that's the place to stop. I think they have 3 locations around.
Mm-hmm.
They have one in DeWitt and where else? So there's somewhere else. So there's like 3 different locations.
I don't know, but that is so good.
Definitely a good bottle. Which brings me to my number 3. This one is mainly because I can find it everywhere.
Except around Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did find it. No, I got it for a Christmas present.
Mm-hmm.
So, But this one is probably one of my regular go-tos. And I absolutely love Woodford Double Oaked. Just once, I would like to... I wish I could find a double oaked, which they don't make anymore. But I just want to try one. I think it would be cool to try a double oaked. But this bottle here, Mrs. Beechan makes candles out of. She makes candles out of them, or puts makes them for candle holders.
Just for the holidays.
Just for the holidays. But Woodford Double Oaked is probably one of our most frequent go-tos for a lot of different things. You can make old fashions with it. You can drink it straight. You can put it on ice.
If you are going to make the old fashioned, though, I highly recommend the Woodford Reserve chocolate bitters. That with a little simple syrup. Ooh, amazing. Absolutely yummy.
I agree. Because when we went to Kentucky, when we went to Woodford Reserve, went there, Mrs. Beechstand got an old-fashioned, and I tell you, it was the best
by far
old-fashioned that we had while we were in Kentucky, and we had several.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. About as many, actually more than we had in Vegas.
Yeah, we did. So never pass up a good old-fashioned, especially if you go to Woodford Reserve, because they really have it down to a science. I believe they put a grapefruit, right?
Yes, instead of an orange.
And it is so good.
It's nummy.
Sit on the back porch in the old rocking chairs, overlooking the distillery and everything down there. So that brings us to Mrs. Beechsand's second from the top bottle, which is...
You know, at the beginning of the year, I would have thought this would have been my first. I really would have. And I think all those people, to get me on camera for the first time, is the Penelope Rio from the Cooper series. This one's not open because the other one went down too fast, so we're not opening this one just yet. But I would say I absolutely love the Rio. Amazing. It's got that sweetness to it that I like. It doesn't have that heavy burn. So for me, it was a fantastic choice.
Yeah, this is like our second bottle of Rio.
Second or third?
Third.
It's our third.
Third bottle of Rio. I do want to thank everybody that helped to get the first Rio, the first Valencia, to get Mrs. Beechstand on camera, because it's been fun ever since. It has. So, that leads me up to my second bottle, which is, believe it or not, actually a Penelope.
We both picked Penelope.
This is an estate collection. This is the single barrel 10-year. I just got this, a couple weeks ago? Couple weeks ago. And this bottle right here, it
spoke to you.
Yeah, it did. It did. It still speaks to me, but I have to ignore it because this is the only bottle I have. I do have 2 of the 9 years, but this is the only 10-year that I have. So I have to hide it out of sight, out of mind, because otherwise it would evaporate super quick.
Yeah, it's all about the evaporation.
Yeah, it's about the evaporation. All of our bottles have holes in them. I just don't know where everything goes. So
it's the cat.
It's the cat.
It's cat. The dogs.
Yeah, it's the cat's fault.
Yep.
I like that answer. It's the cat's fault.
It's Bodie's.
So leads us up to drum roll. Mrs. Beach Sands, number 1.
Like, nobody's not going to know.
If you've been watching our channel, you know what number 1 is. You do know that there are no replacement bottles to be found.
Or will ever be.
We have searched high and low. We've even had some inside help, but those bottles are gone.
Anyways, my number 1 bottle pick for the year would be the Peerless Single Barrel Bananas Foster.
Rye whiskey.
Oh, yes. It is so good.
Single barrel. And I'll tell you, Peerless, we went to downtown Louisville. Everything was closed. And it's like, we went there.
That wasn't even intended.
And, we went into, where do we go?
Michter's.
Went into Michter's, and the guy said, you have got to go down the street a few blocks, go to Peerless, do a tour, or do a tasting, and they have, what do they have that, was it called? A micro tasting or something?
Mm-hmm.
To where you go into this little room, and they let you choose, like, out of however many bottles they put up there.
4. So I think
but there was like 8 or 9 bottles, I thought, that we had to choose from.
We did, but we could only select 4.
Right.
But I want to say it was, what was it, $30?
Yeah, I don't remember
It was
how
like
much it was.
$30.
So, Mrs. Beach Sand did the tasting, and I took her word for it, and we ended up leaving with this bottle right here, the Peerless Single Barrel Rye Whiskey. And this one is 109.9 proof.
Which is very odd for me.
And I will tell you, that bottle easily could have made my number 1 list. Could have. But it didn't. For a couple different reasons. One, I knew somebody else was going to pick that bottle. I didn't want to have the same bottles as she did. And believe it or not, going through the whole list, we were close on some bottles, but my bottles were different than her bottles, which makes this a lot more fun and enjoyable.
Well, it just goes to show you how everybody's palate is different. Everybody enjoys something somebody else likes, you might not like. And something you like, they may not like. That's what's so fun about it, is there's such a variety of tastes out there. It's finding what you enjoy.
Exactly. And for all the newbies that say, hey, I don't know what to try. I don't have the money to go out and spend all this money on big bottles of this or that or everything else. With the exception of probably a couple bottles here. They're pretty much readily available.
That, or the one thing that we did is when we'd go out to a restaurant when we first started, we'd take a look and see maybe what they had on the shelf. Yeah, you might spend a little bit more, maybe, but you'd get to taste it to see if you even enjoyed it. Because there were a couple that we tried and we're like, yeah, I'm not buying a bottle of that. But then there's others that, we tried, and like I said, it's tasting sometimes before you buy. Yeah. Especially if you're on a budget.
And if you can get to local stores, a lot of times they have the little, what we call the airplane bottles, the 50 milliliter, little teeny tiny bottles.
Yep.
Up by the counter usually, and they're usually behind the glass. Pick out some stuff and take it home. Try it. Pour it in a glass. Let it get some air for an hour or so. Swirl it around.
Yep.
Get those notes and get everything all warmed up and checked out and everything else. So
we did that with New Riff.
We did that with New Riff. We did that with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. I mean, we bought a lot in the very beginning. We bought a lot of the airplane bottles, if you want to say.
Needless to say, they're gone.
No, they're not. We still have them. Those are all hidden in a box.
Oh.
So, like I said, this one was close to being my number one. It was. Until
Month ago?
about a month ago when Tom Morrow brought or sent us some samples and said, hey, I want you to try this. This was our first media samples. And no, we're not being paid for any of these bottles by anybody, by no means, because like I said, we spent a lot more than we haven't gotten anything. So how's that? We have got a lot of samples from a lot of people. Dave Vogelsang, Baker Drinks, RJ the Fed,
Yep.
Bad Axe Bourbon, some other channels. Matt from Whiskey Wisdom. I mean, we've got a lot of samples. There's a lot of people that I'm missing that have also been a part of sending samples, and I just want to thank everybody in the community because they have opened up and sent us stuff. We have sent things out to others, and you get an opportunity to try different things that normally you wouldn't be able to. So I just want to thank everybody involved and everybody that sent samples, especially Dave Vogelsang. Dave, you're one amazing man. And I'll tell you, for everybody at home, when we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, Dave has offered to give us or send out a black top Early Times Bottled and Bond for a giveaway. And I believe he said 212 packs or something along those lines. I'll have to clarify.
We'll just say two sample packs.
2 sample packs. So I want to thank Dave for that. I want to thank RJ the Fed. RJ the Fed has offered to send out a bottle for whatever. Life from the Patio has offered to send out a bottle as well. So we have 3 different others that are going to send out bottles when we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. Obviously, we have Eagle Rare, and we're working on a couple other things that we want to get special and put in that drawing as well. So that leads me down to my number one. And I think you know what this is, but LF Distilling Company, Limestone Farms. This is the private stock bottle. This one is 56.8 proof. 56.8 ABV, which makes it 113.6 proof. This bottle here is my number one. For many different reasons, that has
It's so dark.
it is absolutely phenomenal. I don't have the exact mash bill, but it's like it has honeyed wheat, has some other grains and stuff in there. It is absolutely amazing. I can't thank Tom enough. Like I said, I'm not getting any kickback for choosing who's number one, who's wherever in the lineup. We have tried so many great bourbons and whiskeys throughout this past year and had so many opportunities from so many of you at home to try different things and see what we like, what we don't like. I haven't had very many that I haven't liked. I can only think of a couple that kind of,
I can only think of a handful.
that weren't really the greatest. But like I said, if you ever open up a bottle and it doesn't like sing to you right away, give it some time. Open it up a few times a month or whatever. Maybe take a pour out of it and try it and see if it opens up for you. But I will tell you that this bottle right here, the LF Distilling Company, which is Limestone Farms, this is the private stock collection. This bottle right here, if you can find one, I am here to tell you it is worth every cent that it costs. It is absolutely an amazing bottle. We have the other Limestone Farms collection, except for one bottle, which I don't think has been released in Michigan, but we are working on trying to get that bottle, and hopefully we will have that and some others soon. But I am pretty happy with our top 10. Obviously, like I said, Mrs. Beach Sand's number 1, my number 1, on through to number 5 over there. I easily could have picked a lot of the bottles that Mrs. Beach Sand picked, but I said, well,
those are mine.
I'm gonna pick some bottles that call out my name, that I enjoy,
Michael.
And here we are.
Michael.
So, like I said, this bottle here, when I first tried it, I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. What's the matter?
You're not drinking it, so I'm going to take a sip.
So, like I said, when we first tried it, it was like so good. Then, that was little sample bottles. I went to the local store. I ordered up 4 of the bottles that I could get my hands on. And this bottle here, I got it home, had a few pours. Every pour, it gets better and better. And here we are.
Well, take a toast to it.
So, to Limestone Farms, to LF Distilling, keep doing what you're doing, because I will tell you what.
Peerless, too.
And to Peerless. Peerless is doing great things. Don't get me wrong. A lot of these places are doing great things. A lot of these have been doing great things for many years. Maker's Mark, Four Roses, Woodford Reserve. You got Bardstown and everybody that's coming on board, 1792. Hey, it's drink what you like. You don't have to have expensive bottles. You don't have to have cheap bottles. You just have to have what you like, right?
Mm-hmm. Good for you, babe.
So, like I said, interesting to see what other people's thoughts are on what their bottles are, what their favorites are, what they like, what they don't like. It's all fun.
But once again, just to summarize, what a great 2024. It's been a journey. It's been an experience. It's been a learning curve. But it has been well worth it. And we have had more fun this year, I would say, than we've had in a very long time. Just traveling and trying new things and enjoying the different bottles of bourbon we've had the opportunity to enjoy.
Yeah.
So,
and meeting people.
Oh gosh, yes.
And the interaction with everybody. We absolutely love it when we do premieres on Friday nights, because we can say, hey, we enjoy the interaction with you guys. Like I said, we've ran into people out on the street. We've ran into people at the liquor store. And everybody has questions. I don't consider myself a famous person, because there's so many people in this whole community that are like way, way far beyond us in the level. But what are you doing?
Making sure head stays small.
But I look at guys that have helped me along the way, that have given us suggestions. Major Zero has reached out. Adam, I appreciate you. Wade from Bourbon Hall. Myron from Bourbon Drop. I mean, like I said, this is such a friendship, a community between all of the subscribers, between all of the people with other channels that help. We all help each other. Mm-hmm. And I've even had, when I first did this, I first got into it, I reached out to Bruzel, and Bruzel, you know, like I said, I thought, man, this guy's so big. He's not gonna say anything to me. He's just not. TJ has reached out to me with several emails. I will tell you from Bruzel. He has helped me in the very beginning how to make things happen. Yep. And obviously I'm not to his level or even close. But Randy at Bourbon Real Talk, you know, he's given me suggestions. Him and Wes, you know. There's so many people that have helped and brought us to where we are today. Yep. And I thank each and every one of you. I look forward to a better 2025. Yep. And you stole my Glen.
Well, it had a little bit in it. It doesn't have any more.
It needs a refill. Okay. So, that being said, we appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you guys subscribing. And have yourself a happy new year. We will see you obviously next year because it'll be after Wednesday.
Well, basically next week.
Next week. But that's next year.
He will.
That's next year. But if we can hit 1,000 subscribers before Friday, guess what? Guess who'll be back? And then we'll have to get that 1,000 subscriber video set up.
Well, but then it's every week.
We are working on it. Slowly but surely working on it. So, anyway,
thank you.
Have yourself a great night. I just want to thank each and every one of you.
I already did that.
Cheers.